programs. He's a former standout high school quarterback in West Monroe, played in Louisiana Tech, currently serves as LSU's Director of Recruiting. Plays a vital role in all areas regarding recruiting, instrumental in one of the best signing classes in the country in 2022. Of course, they had a top 10 signing class last year, have a very good one moving forward as well in 2025. He joined the Tiger staff in 2021, elevated to his current role, Director of Recruiting a year ago, served previously at Virginia and at Louisiana Tech, and of course, LSU with a big win over Vanderbilt, now has Oklahoma coming in this Saturday at the Tiger Stadium. Please give a warm welcome to J.R. Belton.
Good afternoon, everyone. First and foremost, I want to thank you all for being in attendance today for this amazing luncheon and allowing me to be here. It's truly an honor, and I'm very humbled to stand in front of you all to represent LSU. Being able to be a part of the flagship university of this state is one thing, but being able to have the opportunity to serve so many in all phases every single day is a whole different piece, and it's a huge blessing for myself and honestly a childhood dream of mine. Quick story, I'll tell you. My last institution a few years ago, I was sitting there in my office, end of December, early January, and I never forget, I got a 225 phone call, and Austin Thomas, who's now the Senior Associate AD for LSU, gave me a call, gauging my interest in a potential job opportunity at LSU for the football program. Well, in that time, he and I were engaging in conversation. At the end of the conversation, we concluded, and I asked him respectfully for a few days just to figure out if this was really what I wanted to do. Now, there's two truths to the story. The first one is I was coming no matter what. All right, I mean, having the opportunity to come back home, be a part of a great brand like LSU, was one thing, and being around success is another, right? The second truth is, at the end of the phone conversation, the man picked up the phone, the old former coach, Coach Ed Orgeron, and on speaker, he leaned in and said, "Hey, boy, listen to me. You coming home, you hear me?" And I said, "Yes, sir." I walked back in the building. I resigned that day. I went home. I packed. I drove 14 hours back to Baton Rouge the next morning, and I drove into Tiger Stadium. For the first time, I got to see it, and I realized I had some of my dreams becoming to reality, right? I tell that story because at that time, I didn't realize the impact I would have in my 4 years being at LSU right now, being around consistent success, right? And so from a recruiting standpoint, whenever we're able to drive our prospects around and their families on campus and they can see campus life and buildings being built, academics rise, right? The organizations that they have the opportunity to be a part of on campus is one thing, which is led by President Tate, right? Or we can take them into the PMAC, which is packed for men's and women's basketball game, or Alex Box Stadium, right, for baseball, track and field, gymnastics, and be around so much success and national championship contenders on a daily basis, which is spearheaded by Scott Woodward. Or even better, we can bring them into the football building, right, and they can see the resources that we have to help them develop on and off the field, the people that we have in structure for us from a coaching standpoint to support staff standpoint, but also the attention and detail that we have every single day in what we do. And so the biggest thing for us is that, yes, we have a brand, right? This culture, not just on the campus, but in the state of Louisiana, is so unique. But one thing I've realized in my time coming back to Louisiana, which is the common denominator, is that the people is what makes this thing go, right? And so people, in my opinion, is the final piece of this formula for consistent success. And so when we say this in recruiting, it's one thing, but when they get to see it and feel it, it's another, right? It's our culture, right? And so I bring that up to you because what's so amazing with Coach Kelly is within his vision when he first got to LSU, he implemented a recruiting method and philosophy. And with that, talent is one thing, but the character and the ability to have hard work is an addition from a trait standpoint that we vet and specify for every single prospect across the country, right? We average offering 235 recruits per class, and we recruit 2 classes at a time nowadays. And so we are ongoing identifying what that looks like from a trait standpoint. And so hopefully you've been able to see that within these past few years of who we are and where we're going in terms of success, right? These last 2 seasons, we've had 2 10-win seasons. We've had a Heisman Trophy winner, multiple players have the opportunity to go to the NFL draft. And quite honestly, we've had a lot of fun in Tiger Stadium these last couple of years, right? And so it's exciting times. It's glad to say right now, coming off of a great weekend, we had a great victory versus the SEC opponent. And anytime you can do that versus an SEC opponent is one thing, but being in Tiger Stadium is another. It was very, very great to see our guys engaged and excited in the locker room, just like they are every single day. But the ultimate goal is still there and always will be, and that's the win, right? And so this week, as we get the transition to Oklahoma, it's no greater than the other 11 weeks that we've had. Their attention to detail is locked in. Yesterday they came in excited. Today they have one thing on their mind, and it's fighting for not just themselves, the state of Louisiana as an entirety. And so they understand that and realize that. And so as we move forward to conclude the end of the season, the biggest thing for us is retention and recruiting, right? And so December 4th hits our national signing day for college football moving forward. And so with that, we're anticipating and expecting to have 25 prospects committing to us. I believe we have an elite class. Right now we have 10 of those 25 prospects are top 10 in the country at their position. 15 of them will be early enrollees, which I love for multiple reasons. But the most important is they put them in position for success, not just on the field, but in the classroom to get adjusted what it's like from an academic standpoint. But also in addition to that, it gives them the opportunity to start their career early on the field from spring training, workouts, practice, and put themselves in good position to compete for a starting role in the summer and in fall camp, as we feel like we're bringing some really good talent around us to build this piece and retain some of our top players, juniors and seniors, for this ongoing season. So we have a really good plan in place, I believe, for what's to come right now. And then after signing day, we'll get into what we all love right now. It's called the transfer portal, right? And so December 9th, we'll start the portal, which is a 20-day window for everybody in college football. And we'll be able to identify talent. But I'll be honest, one thing Coach Kelly emphasizes the most, and we do as an entire program, is understanding we want to have a foundation off of development, right? And so our goal is to provide and bring some of the best high school talent across the country, in-state first, region, and then we'll go from there. But in addition to that, we want to make sure when we go into the portal, we're very mindful and strategic in this piece, because we want people that want to be here, right? But also willing and continuing to develop, because that never stops. So, that will happen then, and we're going to continue to build this thing the right way. I am excited where we're going. I'm very secure in the people in our building, from a coaching, support staff, and player in the locker room. Shout out and credit to our personnel recruiting staff. They've done a phenomenal job, in addition to our coaches, laying the foundation, building relationships, and doing this for 2 years for this class alone. So I'm excited about that. And the biggest piece of all this is this takes all of us, right? Not just myself, not just Coach, not just the people in Baton Rouge, but even the people in this room to lay down this foundation ongoing. And so we're going to lean even more in our process as we go into this off season and prepare to be national championship contenders for next season. So once again, I just want to thank you all for allowing me to be here. And most importantly, go Tigers.